Hey everyone, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My camera battery kept dying and I only have a short amount of time that I can actually do this, so I figured I might as well just try using the video recording on my computer rather than my camera that keeps dying. Uh, if I had more time, I would just charge the battery and just call it done. But like I said, I wanted to get the video out so that it's out on time. But anyway, um, so if you're new to the channel, uh, this is Indieauthor Jill. I'm Jill, and I read and review indie-authored books, whether they are self-published or through an indie publishing house. Most of them are um, self-published. I have very few that are actually from a small publishing house. But today we are looking at The Anvil's Whisper by Jaime Rodriguez. For those of you who are looking for a um, book that is written by a man that has spice in it, there you go. And it's in the first 5 pages. Um, I really liked the book myself. I was captivated mostly by the world building and how Jamie describes the world. He's got a very poetic way of describing everything that makes it feel like everything has a life force, whether it's a rock or a river or a tree or the lamp on the um, dresser in Yordan's bedroom. The story follows Yordan. He is a blacksmith. He's nearly 19 years old. He's just shy of his 19th birthday. Um, he is a blacksmith. His father died before he was born. His mother died when he was 9 on the way to Anakatal, where he lives. His um, When his mother dies, he's beside a river, and he's not quite made it to Anakatal, and the this traveling group comes by and sees the boy and takes him. And like I said, he's 9 years old, so they take him into Anakatal, where they find his grandfather. His grandfather immediately takes him in, no questions asked, and shortly thereafter he dies. Well, as you can imagine, that leaves Jordan in quite a pickle because he's still 9 years old, and now he has no family. His mother's dead, his father's dead, his grandfather's dead. He has no family. Farron comes to the funeral, and he goes to Farron. Yordan goes to Farron and asks him, "Will you be my master? Will you take me on as an apprentice the um, to being a blacksmith?" And Farron agrees, and he proves to be a very patient and kind and patient, kind, and gentle teacher. Is how Yordan describes him, and um, Yordan becomes in his own right a master craftsman in the forge. And when he's not in the forge, he's spending time with his best friend Sam, who is blind and a baker. And Sam has developed a way of being able to um, bake and get stuff, make food by feel rather than by anything else. Like he can't see because he's blind, but he feels his way through, and he is as much of a master at baking as Jordan is with making swords or tools or whatever. Um, he also has a girlfriend, Katherine, who he would like to marry, and I feel like Katherine's kind of stringing him along, and maybe I'm wrong. Um, the author is more than welcome to comment below whether or not I'm wrong or not, whether that's accurate. But I feel like she's playing him along because she obviously enjoys spending time with him. the spicy scene is between him and his girlfriend. But when he tries to turn this conversation to something more serious of them getting married or having a life together, she's all like, "Oh yeah, of course I want to marry you. It's just I got these dreams and things that I want to do." And Jordan's like, "Well, I don't want to take that away from you. I want you to follow your dreams." And he understandably is like, "But why does us being married mean you can't follow your dreams?" And she's like, "Well, it's not just that. There's also my dad. And, he doesn't, you're an orphan and you don't have a family name. And that kind of, he's very particular about that." And, um, like I said, it feels like one excuse after another. And it feels like if she were honest, what she would say is, "Hey, I enjoy the physical relationship we have, and you're just something I'm doing to until something better comes along." Uh, but again, maybe I'm wrong, but that's just how I read her reaction to him. Because, like, if you've been dating as long as uh, these two have, and they have been in this relationship for this long, it makes sense that maybe she would be like, more open to the idea of marriage, and she would figure out how to sway her dad to that side of the seeing things. um and obviously in some cases there's the situation of, well, you don't boys tend to take on their father's um role of whatever their fathers do for a living, that's what the boys are going to do when they grow up. And I would argue that if that with Jordan being such a master craftsman in the blacksmith forge and learning from Farron, it does not appear that Farron has any children of his own, and it makes sense that Jordan would absolutely inherit the forge, and even if he didn't, he would be able to go forth and have his own forge. And so I think there's an argument for Katherine that if she really wanted to marry Yordan, she would, and she would be able to uh, sell the idea to her dad. But like I said, she makes one excuse after another to not do that. And when Jordan feels a call to go to Lumina City, she again makes a couple of excuses as to why she can't go. And Sam, on the other hand, who has a bakery to run and a livelihood of his own to take part in, is willing to drop everything and say, "Yeah, let's go on an adventure. Why not?" You know. Um, all I'm saying is Sam is a better girlfriend. Think about it. you know, I Jordan does not strike me as someone who swings that way, but Sam's a better girlfriend. That's all there. It's that simple. you know. Uh, but Sam does go along with him, and Sam and Yordan are very different. Yordan is very spiritual. He puts a lot of stock into his dreams, and he listens to these quiet, still voices. And it's another thing that I love about this book is that the spiritual guidance and the spiritual destiny that Yordan is given isn't this big grand uh thing. It's not like he's in the woods and all of a sudden a bush catches on fire and starts speaking to him. It's just this quiet, still quiet voice inside him that says, "Hey, head up the mountains. Just go into the mountains. You know, just go see what's there." And at first he goes back and forth between following these voices and not listening to them, because he when he hears the voices and he explains to Sam what he's hearing, Sam is not a religious person, like I said, and so he's quick to say, "You're under a lot of stress." And when you're under a lot of stress, it's normal to have the brain play tricks on you. And so you know one of the things I like about Yordan is, like I said, he's almost 19 years old, and there's times when writers will paint a young adult as being wise beyond their years. You know, they're smart, and that they're making these just spot on decisions, and they're very world wise. And there's a psychology to that, that if you've had to live a lot of life by the time you turn 18, 19 years old, then yeah, you're going to be a little bit more world wise. Jordan, despite the fact that he's lost both of his parents and his grandfather at the age of 9, doesn't really have that because he immediately gets taken in by Farron, who acts as a parental figure, and he takes on the role of a parental figure, and he's guiding him, and he's teaching him, and he's, uh, being the father figure that Jordan never had. And he's comes off as being very sheltered, and at first you might think, well, how is he so sheltered? How does he come off as being this naive sheltered kid when he's had to grow up at the age of 9? Well, because he had Farron taught him and raised him, and you know so he does have the luxury of being a little bit more sheltered from the real world, and he's not as cynical towards authority figures because he's not known bad or corrupt authority figures. His mother was not corrupt in his mind. His grandfather wasn't corrupt. His master Farron is not corrupt. So all he's had was really good and gentle and wonderful people to raise and guide him, and he's had good authority figures. So he has very little reason to question the authority figures that he has been taught to adhere to. And so when they're heading to Lumina City, they're meeting other people who have been driven out of Lumina City by the Lumites. And everything he's heard about Lumina City and the Lumites is that they are righteous people. They are benevolent, they are kind, they are good natured. And so when he's meeting these people who are leaving the city, and he says that they say, well, the Lumites kicked us out because they drove us out of their city because we're not like them. In Yordan's mind, all of the authority people that he I am so sorry about the light that's have I don't know what's going on with the light. It's being all flickery and everything. Um we're going to go with it. Um but it goes against everything he's been taught. Everybody that all the authority figures that he trusts, his teachers and his adults, and the people that he trusts, have always told him how great the Lumites are. And so when these other people are saying, "Oh yeah, these Luminites chased us out because we're not like them," he's like, that doesn't add up. That doesn't track with what I know about the Luminites. They would never do that. They're not. That sounds like a terrible thing to do. And um, he gets to Lumina City, and they're quickly arrested, almost immediately arrested, because they're caught helping someone that the Luminites cast out as a heretic and was punishing, and they intervened in that punishment. Sam and Yordan intervened in that punishment because they're like, "Oh, this guy needs help," and they're like, "No, he was being punished. Why did you take him down? Why did you stop the punishment?" So they arrest him for being, and Sam as being um an accomplice with the heretic, and they have to go and find out, so that they can find out, why did you take this guy and take him away from his punishment? Why did you um, interfere with that? And so Jordan and Sam are quickly finding out that what they've always known about the Luminites may not be true, and things are not as they seem. And it sets them on this journey as Jordan follows the small, still voice and starts to block out the word of the world. So people who aren't of his faith, even Sam, when Sam says, "Hey, you're just your mind's playing you're stressed, your mind's playing tricks on you," and Jordan starts to double down and says, "You know what? No, my mind is not playing tricks on me. This is my faith. This is my faith at work, and I need you to trust me." And he finds that Sam is a lot more accommodating than what he first believed. So when there's times when Jordan is very much of a people pleaser, unfortunately. But I mean, he has no, like, in his mind, he doesn't have anybody. Like I said, his mom and his dad and his grandfather are dead. All he has is Fair and Sam and Catherine. And for him, that's a very loose hold on being accepted. Like, as far as he's concerned, he doesn't have anybody. So when the people that he does have start questioning, fear of losing them as well, even if it's just a I don't want to be friends with you anymore type situation, or I don't want to be your girlfriend anymore, or whatever, makes him slow to stick to stay true to his faith and to uh, put in those boundaries. Um, but he eventually does, and he finds that when he does stick to his boundaries and stick to his beliefs, those friends, especially Sam, don't abandon him because, like I said, Sam's a better girlfriend. They do find, what's her name? Asha? Uh, I I am so terrible with names. I'm so sorry. Um, Asha. Um, she is a Zedian, and his first Jordan's first encounter with a Zedian does not end well. A Zedian comes into his Enekatal and is quickly um shut up. I've been getting these calls all day long from a restricted number. Um and I don't know why. I keep um I keep ignoring them, but they keep calling. Um I assume that if it's a restricted number they are um shush, that they are a scam. So but anyway, this is book one of this story, and yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it. I especially enjoyed. I don't know how else to describe it except to say that it feels like the world itself is the main character, and Jordan and his friends are kind of the backdrop of the story, that the world is alive with spirits and with deities that are guiding these people, and they're just uh going along. And but I love the way that Yordan, the still, it's still his decisions driving the story, and that he and his friends are trying to do what's right in a world that doesn't want them to do what's right. Um, the world is very much against them on their journey of you know, we don't want you to do the right thing. We want you to be a passive observer and just go along with what everybody else is doing. Um, and Yordan and Sam realize that they just can't do that. That they have to make a stand. They have to do what is right, regardless of what the rest of the world is telling them. Um, as usual, I will leave a link in the description below. Um, yeah, and hopefully my battery charges for the next video. um, Normally, what I would do is I would pull down the jar and tell you and pick out another the next slip of paper. Um, but at the time that I read the Anvil's Whisper, um, I was dealing with some mental health issues, and I kind of did a soft DNF of it until I could get myself back in the mindset to read it. And then when I did, I'm glad I took the break to just uh, allow myself to, because then I could really get into the book. Otherwise, I feel like I wouldn't have appreciated the book as much as I did. But I did end up drawing another number, and it was 37, which is The Tales of Arcana Fortune by Hasfa Jawad. So that's the next one I will be reading, and uh, things are better now. So, um, at least for me. So hopefully I can get through that and just get on with our reading and get through these books. So until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.